Hey, what's up, brothers and sisters? This is your brother, G World 7 Space D. And I'm just, outside, walking around this beautiful Sunday afternoon. And it feels like it's around maybe 72, 73 degrees outside. And it's beautiful. Very few clouds. I want to talk about protesting. And there's so many people who constantly preach how they for the rights of American citizens to protest or have the right to protest their personal beliefs. But when it seems to come down to black people, there seems to be a really big issue, as usual, is that we're always told to shut up and be in your place. Or this is not the right time to protest. But when is? The beautiful thing, how people always talk about how America gives you the freedom and liberty to do so many different things. Except when it seems like it's for black people, those liberties seem to be all thrown out the window. I want to say this, though, is that to tell someone when to protest and not to protest is, to me, you're dictating to them when they can speak their mind or when they can speak and when they cannot speak. It sounds like a little dictator, a former dictator. And that, to me, that's a person should be able to right to speak their mind. And we make this country, I've noticed they're making a big deal of a flag. I've had relatives who served in the military, served in World War II, Korean and the Vietnam War, and they all talked about how racist the military was. How over in World War II, black soldiers were treated worse than the POWs from Germany. That the white prisoners of war from Germany were treated better than the black soldiers. And many of the white soldiers would go around over in Europe and say that black people had tails in the back of them. And then many of the whites over there would go get up off their chairs and look and see if there was a tail behind the black person. That's what the mess that a lot of the white soldiers have said. And even when they had the ticker tape parades back here, many of the white soldiers didn't want to march with them. I constantly hear people like Boomer Esiason talking about the soldiers who fought for our freedom to speak. And I believe he said his father was in the military, or some family members were. Was his father one of the ones who treated the white Germans, POWs, better than the fellow black soldiers who was wearing American uniform like his father? If that's the case, then, he really needs to shut up and stop being a damn hypocrite. Like I said, I've spoken to many blacks who fought in wars and talked about the racism in the military and how the U.S. military, they're not really protecting our borders. They really are just for the interest for U.S. imperialism. They're being used. Those soldiers are being used, and most of them, when they come back home, and many of them when they are in the VA hospital, it seems like all these people who supposedly hoop and holler about the military don't go visit them or try to help them out in the hospitals. If you ever been to a VA hospital, man, they're really terrible, some of them are, man. See them, a lot of those individuals broken limbs, and some of them places look like it's run down and everything. Then I seen some former military people out here homeless. No military person should be homeless. But you get all these people who are pumping up the flag and talking about they're pro-military. If you're pro-military, why don't you help out your fellow military person who is homeless in the street? No, you just a damn hypocrite running your damn mouth. But that's typical from a bunch of stupid hypocrites. Or they pro-war, pro-gun, but when it's time for them to sit up there and fight and throw them out in the front line, then all of a sudden, they'll have a sorry-ass excuse. They may run to Canada or something. And that's truly sad. It's truly sad how technically I think you have a bunch of cowards in this country who talk a big game about freedom and liberty, but when it comes time to basically fighting for their true freedom and liberty, they do a backslide or backslide or electric slide or a moonwalk backwards to the truth, from the truth. It's really sad. It's truly sad. It's truly sad the state that we in, that people in this country continue to be dumbed down. They believe what they hear in the media. Why would you be against an individual who's getting on his knees or refuse to stand up for an anthem that was written by a man who was pro-slavery, who was against the abolitionist movement, and who's actually, who wasn't a big friend of the black community? If you listen to the second stanza of the national anthem, why should I, as a black person, bow down to an anthem that was created and made by a devil? Because that's what Francis Scott Key was, a devil. Why should any black person do that? And then you tell us, oh, we don't like America, get out. How can you say that when most of you individuals saying that your relatives did not come here to the beginning of the 20th century? And we've been here much longer than you. In fact, black people are the original people of this planet. We've been here since antiquity. But even the black population who were brought over here during the slave trade, we were here before most white people. So for anyone of European extraction to say that we need to go back to Africa, to me, that's not only a deplorable statement to make, but that's very hilarious and funny. If anyone needs to go back, you need to go back to Europe, where your ancestors are from. To make statements like that is insulting, but it's typical. Instead of attacking individuals who are speaking up for the injustices that's going on in this country, you need to work by their side or try to understand their feelings of what they're going through. I constantly hear about multiculturalism, love the world, we should all love each other, we should all understand each other. That's what America's about. But yet, when it comes to black people, that's not what it's about. Young black men and women being shot, killed by police officers. Even the FBI has stated there's a growth of white racist nationalists joining the police forces around the country. Now, since they have stated that, what are they doing about that problem? It's one thing to sit there and say that they're having that problem on police forces, but what are they doing to correct it? What are they doing, since that's been put out there, what are societies doing? You're hearing that statistic that was put out by the FBI, and then you hear Kaepernick got on his knees to talk about that issue. And all you can do is go on the internet, go read a newspaper, find an article that's dealing with that matter. But yet, instead of doing your research and find out more about that subject matter, you want to attack and belittle the people who are speaking up or who want to talk about the issue about racism in this country. But this country is not serious about talking about racism in this country. This country is about, like James Brown said in this song, talking loud, ain't saying nothing. This country do a lot of talking, a lot of lip service, but you don't really back up what you claim to preach. And it's sad, because you're not going to ever move forward with that particular attitude. You always expect, or people always expect, that people should just naturally get along, or we should just naturally go along with the status quo. That's not true. You see, the next war or next incident that may affect Americans or European Americans, maybe we as black people should just sit out. We should sit out of your wars. We should sit out any of your conflicts. Let you solve it. We should not fight any more wars. No more. If you really feel that our issue's not worth a damn, and that we should just be happy to be Americans and shut the hell up, the next time that something happens in this country, Don't come to us for your help. You on your own. Let's just, the black race, just sit out. Because I think it's sad that this issue, which is so serious about police brutality, and then you have so many individuals just want players to just play football and shut up, instead of really addressing the issue and getting those bums off the police force, those particular individuals off the police force. You just want people to shut up and not talk about the issue. But when your issues come up, then we supposed to be crying and be so into it and so loving, so caring. Nope. Can't do it, won't do it. This is your brother, G World 7 Space D, shooting another YouTube video on this Sunday afternoon. And it's getting a little bit chilly, but it's still cool. Chicago's October 1st. Tomorrow's October 2nd. The next minute that old goofy Halloween comes around, which is a holiday I don't know why black people celebrate, as well as any of these other little goofy holidays, but I guess it brings the family together, right? Your brother G World 7 Space D. Peace and love. Over and out. So